Hey guys, just in case you needed another example of a confidence interval for two means, I wanted to represent it in a different way. So now I'm looking at, instead of yesterday when we saw the stats that were provided to you, so I gave you the mean, I gave you the standard deviation, I gave you the end value already. But now this is an example where I'm giving you the raw data. So I've got one list of data for bounty and one list of data for generic. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, in commercials for Bounty paper towels, the manufacturer claims that they're the quicker picker-upper. But are they also the stronger picker-upper? To find out, two students select a random sample of 30 Bounty paper towels and random sample of 30 generic paper towels. I'm getting really excited about the paper towels. Okay. And measured the strength of both kinds of paper towels when wet. To do this, the students uniformly soaked each paper towel with 4 ounces of water, held two opposite edges of paper towel, and counted how many quarters each paper towel could hold until ripping. They also alternated brands, So here's their results below. So this is how many quarters the paper towels were able to hold. So that's pretty crazy. So something I want to point out real quick is it tells us what the sample size is for each. So before even counting like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, how many sample size or how many numbers there are, it tells us that there's 30 numbers for Bounty and 30 numbers for generic paper towels. So the first step that you have to do is calculate the mean and the standard deviation for both distributions. So depending on whatever calculator you have, you're going to go to Stat, Edit, 1var Stats. So Edit's going to bring you to L1, and then you're going to put your numbers into L1. This is going to be for Bounty, and you're going to have to repeat it again for generic. And then you're going to go to Stat, Calculate, over to one variable stat, and that's going to give you all of the statistics that you need for this two means confidence interval. Okay, so I already went ahead and did that, so I put everything into L1 for Bounty. So I put all 30 numbers in, and I found that for Bounty, the average is 117.6. The standard deviation is 6.64. And we already know that the sample size is 30. So we want to see if Bounty is stronger, meaning does it hold more paper towels? So I'm going to choose Bounty to be context A and generic to be context B. So that's kind of confusing because I wrote B here, but B stands for Bounty. This is for context B. So that means that this is the mean of context A, the standard deviation of context A, and the sample size of context A. Okay, for generic, we're going to repeat the process in the calculator just to find those summary statistics, and I found that the mean for context B is 88.13, standard deviation of context B, 6.3, and the sample size of context B is 30. Okay, from here, this is just like yesterday when we go to calculate the true difference, or the difference in the true means, the true difference in means between Bounty and generic paper towels. Okay, so I put the formula up at the top right. So I'm going to subtract the two means. I'm going to go 117.6 minus 88.13 plus or minus 2 times the square root of 6.64 squared over 30 plus 6.3 squared over 30. Okay, so after calculating this for this one, I went ahead and calculated it with the square root. So I found 29.47 as my single value estimate, plus or minus 2 times 1.6711. And again, you want to keep as many decimal places as you can. Notice that these are pretty low decimal places, so I didn't choose to go any further. So this is 29.47 plus or minus 3.34 for a confidence interval of 26.13 and 32.81. Okay, so this tells me here that Bounty held 26.13 to 32.81 more quarters than the generic brand. Okay, if I had actually done it the other way around, so if I had said context A was the generic brand and context B was Bounty, then I would have ended up getting a negative confidence interval, actually in this case entirely negative confidence interval, which means that generic would have held less quarters. So try to think about that real quick and see if that makes sense to you. Okay, from here, we are 95% confident, so what am I doing? I'm interpreting that the interval of plausible values from 26.13 to 32.81 contains the true difference in means. Again, I'm calculating two means, so it's the true difference in means for Bounty and generic paper towel strength. So based on the interval from part B, are we convinced, or can you conclude that Bounty paper towels are actually stronger than generic paper towels when wet? So anytime, can you conclude, do you have evidence of, you're going to look at the interval. And what the interval is telling us is that it's completely positive, which means which number is not contained in the interval. So it's positive value. So yes, I can conclude that. So yes, Bounty paper towels are stronger because the interval is entirely positive. Okay, so because it's entirely positive, then that means I'm 95% confidence that Bounty holds 26 to 32 more quarters than generic brand, which means, what should you do when you go to the grocery store to buy paper towels? Should you buy name brand or should you buy off brand? You decide.